Here nodi, look at the program. Program to demonstrate a copy constructor. This program is to find the factorial of a number using the concept of copy constructor. Just I will go through the class program. Class copy is the name of the class. Int var anta ಒಂದು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, var just one variable. So to find out the factorial of that variable, only one data member. In public we have the basic constructor. Right? Here we have a constructor. Actually this program as given in the textbook I am typing here, though the title is copy constructor, this is actually a parameterized constructor. It is not the copy constructor. This is a parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. The mistake is I will modify that now. Correct? Copy int temp, where is equal to temp. So this becomes a parameterized constructor. Int calculate, another function to calculate the factorial. So this function will simply calculate the factorial. Int fact I, fact is 1, then for I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to var, I plus plus, fact is equal to fact star I, return a fact. This is simply a function to find out the factorial and return the factorial. That's it. End of the class definition. Void main. Look at that. In main, we enter n, enter a number, c in n. Then copy obj of n. Copy obj of n. Obj is the object created from the copy. Copy is the name of the class here. Don't get confused. It is the name of the class. Then obj of n. N I will be sending as the parameter. So it will be received in the constructor here. Temp is having the value of n, passing the argument. So variable is initialized to n, whatever you have entered in the main, and the factorial of that n will be calculated and returned to the calculate function. So here, before copying, see here, there is one more statement. Copy cpy is equal to obj. Copy cpy is equal to obj. What is this? This is the way of assigning already existing object obj to another object of the same class, newly created one, cpy. Correct? So what is done here? Whatever the values in obj will be copied to cpy. So when you call the function calculate using the two objects like obj.calculate and cpy.calculate, so both will be displaying the factorial of given number. That's it. Because cpy is a copy of the object obj. When you give, for example, n is 5, the variable data member of both the objects will be having that value of n, maybe 5. So the calculate function will find out the factorial of 5. So that is this problem, very simple one. So in this case, actually, here, see, it is actually in the main. Look at that. This statement will call the copy constructor. But look at that. In this program, actually, the same program is available in the textbook. There one mistake they have done. Copy constructor is used in the function call there, where when we create the object in main, but it is not defined in the class. What is defined is just a simple parameterized constructor, which is used to create the object, first object obj. Second object cpy is a copy of obj. For this one, there is a need of separate copy constructor defined in the class, but in this program it is not defined. So by then the compiler calls a default copy constructor. Compiler has got a default copy constructor. In case the user is not defining copy constructor, the compiler calls its own. So that is what is happening in this program now. Are you understanding? So in this program, that concept is being used. Copy constructor already idda copy constructor work ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ by default ಇರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಪಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು? ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರೈಸ್ಡ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ. Now I will modify this. So when you run this anyway, factorial of the given entered number will be calculated. If you enter 5, factor of 5, how much? 120 will be displayed using both the functions, obj as well as cpy. Correct? Now, since the title is copy constructor, I will write one more constructor, which is actually the copy constructor. I'll use the same syntax. Copy constructor syntax I will write. You just recall. Copy. Here. Copy class name ampersand obj. Suppose C I will write. What is C? C is a reference to the already existing object. Ampersand C. Right? Then I will define C dot var ಇಷ್ಟೇ. Right? End of the copy constructor. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, just this constructor is required actually. Just simply this constructor is required. This is the copy constructor. Correct? Now you need not write down this. To write down, I will post this program in the group. Correct? The same program I will post in the group, as well as this recording also I will post. So this is the actual copy constructor. Now the actual copy constructor defined by us in the program, this one will be executed here. Right? The copy constructor is executed using this method. cpy is a copy of the existing object obj. When you pass any value n, maybe 5, obj calls calculate, so factor of 5 will be found out. Now cpy is a copy of the object. It also contains the same value 5. So once again the factorial of 5 is calculated using the cpy object. It's a copy object. That's it. Okay. Did you understand this, or any confusion in copy constructor? Now this program we have seen. Now in parameterized constructor, features we have seen. Right? Parameterized constructor can accept arguments, different arguments. So parameterized constructor can be overloaded. When you have a constructor which accepts parameters, it is called a parameterized constructor. Okay. So that is why it is an advantage compared to the default constructor. Are you understanding? In the case of default, many objects of the same class will be having the same set of values for the data members when you initialize, because it is not possible to give arguments. If you give x0, y0, for example, x and y are two data members, all the objects of a class will be having the same values of a and b, which is not possible in reality. Correct? No? For example, if you have different student objects for a class student, whether different students having the same name, same roll number, no chance. So parameterized constructors are useful in this example. I mean, in this situation. Now see. So parameterized constructor are helpful in this situation. So it is possible to pass arguments. Now, invoking constructors we shall see. When we have parameterized constructor in a class, there are different methods of invoking. Invoking means calling the constructors. How can we make use of? There is a difference in the way we write it. That's all. So in invoking the constructors, we see now a constructor is automatically invoked by the compiler. We know it. Automatically called when an object is created. The constructors can be invoked through following methods. Look at the methods. First one, implicit call. First one, explicit call. Second one, implicit call. The third one is initialization at the time of declaration with the equal to operator. Correct? So there are three ways of invoking the constructors: implicit invocation, explicit invocation or call, and initialization at the time of declaring with the assignment operator. Are you getting this? Okay. Now we shall see first one, explicit call or explicit invocation of constructors. Now look at the example program. Here in explicit call, the declaration of the object is followed by the assignment operator, constructor name, and the argument list enclosed in parentheses. So it is the way of writing the object creation statements in the main. Now look at the class. The class definition for class num, private int AB, public num, it is a parameterized constructor. Int p, q, int p and q. So a is equal to p, b is equal to q, initialization. Parameterized constructor, this one is. Next, display function is there, display the value of a and b, end of the class. In main, look at this statement. Just observe these two statements. Here we create an object, 1 and 2, two objects are created. Look at the way it is written. Num obj1 is equal to num of 10, 20. So this is the explicit way of invoking the constructor. What do you mean by this? Usually, we write num obj1 of 10, 20. Directly we pass the arguments in the object. We have seen previous copy constructor. And n we are passing. Copy obj of just n. Directly the argument is passed in parentheses. But here it is explicitly written again. Num obj1 is equal to num of. So this is actually the constructor. See, num is the constructor anyway, class name. Num of 10, 20. Again we are writing the class name here. So object name is equal to again the class name and required parameters. So this way of writing style it is a way of writing. This is called explicit invoking the constructor. So in the class and the main other things, definition of the functions, there is no difference at all. Only invoking the constructors means creating the object. The method of writing the statement of creating the object, there is only the difference. Are you understanding? And calling other functions like display, there is no difference at all. Just using the object name, you call the display function. So if you write this way, this is called explicit call. Now let us go to the second one. The implicit program to initialize implicit declaration. Look at this. Class num, same class it is. There is no difference. Maybe m and n are used in variables. Now in the main you see, look at the main statement. This is the normal way of using the object creation statement. We write num obj1 of 10, 20. Parameters 10 and 20 are directly passed within parentheses for the object only. Num object2 of 40, 50. Understood? It is called implicit. It is understood. obj1 and parameters are 10 and 20. obj2 parameters are 40 and 50. So calling the object and other functions is normal as with the similar to the previous example. So implicit and explicit are the method of writing the object creation statement. There is no difference in the class we define or the member function definition. Nothing is there, same. So did you understand the difference between this is implicit call. Directly write the arguments. In explicit you have seen, here you write in this way, num obj1 is equal to, again num is written, the class name is written, and then the parameters. Because num the name of the constructor here. So constructor name is explicitly written in the object creation statement in explicit call. Whereas in implicit call, only the object is written and the arguments are passed in the parentheses. Correct? So there is a note. One parameterized constructor num is defined inside the class. Okay. For each object, different values are passed from function main. Therefore, different objects can be initialized to different values. That is the feature of parameterized constructor anyway. Okay. Look at that. Here, obj1 has 10 and 20 for the data members values, whereas obj2 has 40 and 50. Is it possible in default constructor? No, it is not possible. It is possible only in parameterized constructor. Now, the third way of using or executing, invoking the constructors, it is initialization of the objects using declaration, during declaration with the assignment operator. This is the third variety of invoking the constructor. Now see, this method is used for the constructor with exactly one argument. If you have a constructor with only one argument, then this method can be used. In this method, declaration is followed by assignment operator. and the value to be initialized directly. Now we see this. Now here in this case, preferably the class contains only one data member. The class contains only one data member. Remember that. Look at the class num. Here we have taken int a, only one data member. Then public, the constructor, see, int yum, num int yum, a is equal to yum. This is the way of defining the parameterized constructor anyway. Void display cout a. In the main section, void main, see, num obj1 is equal to 100 directly. See, the way we create the object obj1 and assign directly the value 100. What do you mean by this? 100 is the value which is initialized to the data member. There is only one data member a. Whereas in the previous, we have written there are two arguments because two data members will be there in the class. So this is not possible to use in this way. Is equal to. There are two values. So in case there is only one parameter in the constructor, then look at the way we write creating objects. Num obj1 is equal to 100 directly. obj2 is equal to 200. So obj1 and obj2 are initialized with the different values for their data members. Correct? So this is the way we make use of the third type of invoking the constructor. It is using the equal to sign. So object name is equal to the value to be initialized directly. So this is possible only when there is only one data member. Remember this. When there are two data members, suppose the class contains A and B, two data members. Then if you provide equal to, it is possible to give only one value, is equal to 100. How to give the second value? It is not possible. Object contains only one data member. So the value you are giving using equal to sign will be assigned to that single data member in the class. That's it. So object 1, 100, object 2, 200 displayed. What is 100 and 200? The values of the variable A, data member, a single data member A. So these three things we have seen invoking the constructors in the case of parameterized constructors. Even implicit and explicit can be written for other constructors also. Default constructor also we can call in this way. Right? Simply opening and closing the parenthesis without any arguments. That I will show using another program. So then copy constructor, everything else we have seen. So next. So that is the, I think, the end of the constructors. Destructor. The last section in this one is a destructor. I think I have explained a destructor in the last class. Right? Destructor is a special member function similar to constructors, which is used to destroy a given class. I mean, the object of the class is getting deleted because of the execution of a destructor. A destructor is also a special member function. It's a member function basically, which is defined within the public section. And it has a tilde symbol in front of that. See, the class account here in the example, the account is a constructor, whereas tilde symbol and account function is a destructor. So destructor also has the same name as that of its class, similar to the constructor. A destructor is taking no arguments, so it cannot be overloaded. I have explained in the previous class. Destructor cannot be overloaded, whereas constructor can be overloaded. Means you can define another constructor with the different parameters. Most common use of destructor is to deallocate the memory of the objects when the program is terminated. Correct? Similar to constructors, destructor is also defined or declared in the public section. When we don't write our own destructor in the class, the compiler provides its own default destructor. Correct? We need not have to define. The compiler has its own default destructor which will be executed. So use of a destructor is given using this program here. See, whatever the class num, here is a destructor. You can see the destructor here. In the destructor, we can write only one statement using cout. Nothing we are able to write. The display is cout. We are in destructor, or the destructor called. Some statements can be written. So just to know that destructor is used. So this is how you call the declare the destructor and define the destructor outside the class in this example. Num double colon scope resolution tilde symbol num destructor. So when the program gets terminated here, end of the program in main, then the destructor will be called. Look at the output. First constructor is called when we create the object. So this in constructor, there is a statement in the constructor body in constructor that will be displayed. So this statement is showed just to show. Next, after end of the program, right, value of that is displayed, and at the end of that destructor is called. So here we end this chapter. Now in the remaining time, I will show you using programs to invoke using implicit, explicit, and the third type using is equal to sign, that is execution of or invoking constructors, right? That I will show you in programming examples. Hope you have understood the concepts of constructors and destructors.